The room is filled with the delicious smell of meat cooking. Empty plates are visible. "I started eating because you were late," says Mary with a smile. "I was hungry, so I ate first. Surprisingly good, despite how it looks, haha," laughs Tom, beer in hand. What do they mean? Isn't this the fancy meat I bought for Jim's celebration? But they ate it first. Why are the plates empty? There's nothing scarier than a grudge over food. Something inside me snaps. Children grow up so fast. One moment, they're a baby who can't even hold their head up, and the next moment, they're walking and talking. Before you know it, they're in elementary school, and then suddenly in middle school. The dizzyingly busy days of parenting have somehow become much easier. But it's not over yet. Yes, it's now time for exams. Jim, an 8th grader, is gearing up for his exams. I'm Rolla, a working mom who has just hit her 40s. Jim goes to cram school every day and spends his nights holed up in his room focusing on his studies. He's working hard to get into a high-level high school he really wants to attend. As his parent, all I can do is create an environment where Jim can concentrate on his studies. If he wants to go to cram school, I provide the money. When Jim is studying, I use headphones for the TV. If he's studying late, I make him a late-night snack. Conversations with Tom and Mary are in whispers. With Mary, who's hard of hearing, we communicate with gestures. "There's no toilet paper left." "I'll get some." For this, Mary points to the toilet and mimics the shape of toilet paper with her hands. Then I point to the shelf and toilet, nodding in response. Sometimes our gestures are so misunderstood we look like dancers or chickens. But no one's watching, so it doesn't matter. When Jim occasionally comes out of his room and sees us, "What are you doing?" he asks with a cold look. I just laugh it off. Dealing with a teenager and a student preparing for exams can be tricky. I try to be considerate, but there are those who mess it all up. Tom and Mary. Neither of them are bad people at their core, but it's hard to call them good either. They just don't get it. They cooperate with the gesture-based communication, but no matter how many times I tell them, they won't stop doing one thing. And that's sneaking food. It's not just a little bit, because we're family. Their behavior is excessive. "Hey, do you know where my yogurt went?" Jim asks, coming home from cram school and opening the fridge, looking puzzled. "That's the one you bought with your allowance, right?" "Is it not there?" "I definitely put it here, but it's not here. That's strange." "Oh, maybe I ate it." After a shower, Tom, with a towel over his shoulders, says this to a puzzled Jim. "What? I bought it and put it in the fridge. You saw it too, Dad." "I just really wanted some yogurt, you know. It's okay. I'll buy more tomorrow." "I want to eat it now, not tomorrow." Jim, angry, goes back to his room while Tom watches him with a laugh. Of course, Tom didn't buy yogurt the next day. Another day. I call out to Jim, who comes out of his room for a break. "There's a sandwich on the table for you. Eat up." "Thanks, I'm starving. Where is it?" "It's on the table. Wait, is it not there?" As I check the table, the sandwich that was supposed to be there is indeed missing. "Oh, sorry, I ate it." Mary's voice comes from behind me. I turn around in surprise, and there she is, smiling innocently. "Mary, I told you that was Jim's snack for the night, didn't I?" "Yeah, I know, but I was just so hungry. Rolla, can you make another one?" Mary asks without any hint of apology and returns to her room. I think to myself, shouldn't the person who ate it make another one, or at least prepare their own? Such things are a daily occurrence. Every day something gets eaten by Tom or Mary, even if it's labeled with a name or a note. Tom offers a casual apology with a sorry. Mary just laughs it off with a couldn't help it. Jim and I are exasperated with these two. It's somewhat forgivable if it's just a little something, but it's more serious when they eat things meant for the next day. Like lunch. I work and mornings are hectic, so I prepare a lunch the night before to just pack it in the morning. Knowing Tom and Mary's behavior, I always put a big "do not eat" note on the Tupperware containing the lunch. But it's been eaten again. They eat it anyway, those glutinous two. "Why do you eat it when it's clearly marked for the lunchbox?" I don't know, maybe Mom. Don't talk with Caesar dressing on your lips. The Caesar salad is completely gone. Come on, Rolla, no need to get so mad. It's just a Caesar salad, right, Tom? Mary, maybe say that after you wipe the chicken off your cheek. There's nothing left for the main dish. Such incidents really frustrate me in the busy mornings. Even I start speaking harshly, but Tom and Mary don't seem to like that. What's with that tone? I'm buying the ingredients with my money, right? What's wrong with me eating it? That's Tom. The grocery money comes from my part-time job. And me. I'm paying for everything else, so it's the same as paying for groceries, right? Tom said. But your lunch boxes won't have anything in them, I retort. Just make something up, it's not that hard. Tom says back. There's no way I can do that when I don't have time, I explain. Mary joined our argument, naturally defending Tom. In the old days, I used to get up early and work hard to make packed lunches. You're trying to get away with making something cold for Tom and my grandson. I'm telling you that's not good. You should be thanking me. What should I be thankful for? I'm working and don't have time, I say back. Are you mocking me for being a housewife? What a terrible daughter-in-law, Mary said. How does it come to that? I'm doing my best in my own way. Please don't get in my way. No matter what I say, Tom and Mary just don't understand. They both just get annoyingly angry. And the next day, the make-ahead meals are gone again. Frankly, I couldn't care less about Tom's lunch. Tom's an adult and earns his own money, so he should be able to handle lunch. But it's different for Jim. I want to provide Jim, busy with exams, with the most delicious, nutritious, and filling lunches possible. Yet those two trample on my feelings. Doesn't Mary care for her grandson, Jim? I can't stand it. Sorry, Jim, can you buy something on your own? Did Dad and Grandma eat it again? They're hopeless. Yeah. I returned a wry smile to Jim, who was irritable from teenage rebellion and studying for exams, and seemed more sensible than them. Tom and Mary never change. No matter what I say or how I plead or get angry, they just keep eating. They say they prefer my cooking over the snacks I bought for them. It makes no sense. I was getting tired of the daily battles with Tom and Mary. Then, finally, a ray of light shone on our home. Jim passed his first choice high school. Congratulations, Jim. You did so well. Hey, don't cry, Mom. Jim was taken aback as I started crying with happiness when I saw the list of successful candidates on the computer screen. Even as he said that, he was grinning, clearly happy. He worked so hard. The effort of making fake sandwiches to escape from Tom and Mary was worth it. Or rather, they got tired of the sandwiches I made for them and ended up finding and devouring Jim's hidden portion too. I was really furious. Once driven to desperation, I made so much food that they couldn't possibly finish it, only to find them full the next morning. Tom is one thing, but it's amazing how much Mary can eat at her age. It's either sheer stubbornness or determination. Well done, Jim, for persevering through all these hurdles. Jim, you did great. Mary, who had been quite the nuisance, seemed genuinely happy about her grandson's success, tears of joy in her eyes. Give me back my sandwich. There are grudges, sure, but let's forget those today. It's a day to celebrate. What do you want to eat to celebrate, Jim? Meat? Such a boyish response. Well, it's his favorite after all. Boys and their meat. Alright then, I just got paid yesterday. Okay, let's splurge today. I'm off to shop. I sent a message to Tom and hurried out to shop. Splurged on prime beef. First time buying it at a specialty store. Well, prime beef is expensive. I've only ever had no-name domestic beef before. The sight of the red and white marbling makes my mouth water. But the prime beef is just for Jim. Tom and Mary get the no-name domestic, and I get the cheap imported kind. Can't help it, that's our financial situation. Cooking such good meat was nerve-wracking. First, I finished preparing the salad and soup. Then Tom came home. I'm home. That sounds good. Welcome home. Sadly, the prime beef is only for Jim. What? None for us? Our budget doesn't allow for it. You and Mary get domestic. I'm even having cheaper meat, so bear with it. What's that? So stingy. I wanted to tell him to pay for it himself, but held back. Didn't want to spoil the celebratory mood, because of Tom. Just as I was about to cook the meat, Tom had another demand. If I can't have good meat, at least give me a decent beer. We only have cheap beer at home. Sorry, didn't buy any. What? At least you could have bought that. I'll pay, go get it. Now? What's the point if I can't have it with the meat? All right. Didn't want any argument to ruin the atmosphere, so reluctantly I went to buy it. Then, Mom, I'll go too. Want some snacks for after the meal? Jim said, joining me. Shall I go buy them? No, I want to pick them myself. When was the last time I walked alone with Jim? His face seemed unusually gentle, perhaps relieved after his exams. Walking with him, I almost teared up, remembering his childhood. True to form, Tom and Mary did not disappoint with their predictable behavior. We felt something was off the moment we entered home after shopping. What's this smell? Jim, who entered first, noticed it. Huh? Is that the smell of meat cooking? I realized it too. The uncooked meat was somehow emitting a savory aroma. What's going on? Rushing into the living room, we found... Welcome back. We got hungry and started eating since you were late. Mary, smiling. You were late. We got hungry and started eating first. There's some weird-looking meat, but despite its looks, it was surprisingly tasty, haha. Tom said, laughing with a cheap beer in hand. Who was it that wanted a decent beer again? And there in the kitchen was an empty tray, every piece of meat gone. The prime beef, the domestic, and the cheap meat. The table was a mess of scattered food. Plates left with nothing but the delicious smell. Did you eat it all? Huh? No way. That wasn't enough for all of us, right? We ate our share, so you guys should eat up too. I don't know where it is, though. Exactly. Hurry up. Poor Jim must be hungry, right? Our sweet grandchild is starving. Go cook some meat for him. We only found our portion in the fridge. Don't know where yours is. What is this? What kind of joke is this? This is too much. This is a celebration for Jim. Jim, who worked hard on his exams. This is just cruel. The worst thing at the worst time. My meat is one thing, but the meat bought for Jim, who tried so hard, is now gone. Tears welled up in my eyes from this terrible act. I can't take it anymore. I've reached my limit. I don't care anymore. I'm about to explode. Just as I was about to speak out. Enough is enough. It wasn't me. A low male voice from behind me. It was Jim. Jim? Surprised, I called out to him and he pushed past me, standing in front of Tom and Mary. Enough, you two! He yelled. Jim, that's no way to talk to your dad and me, is it? Shut up. How can glutens like you be my parents? Whoa. Hey, next to nothing, Dad. Huh? Next to nothing, Dad? You talking to me? Who else could it be? Whoa. Jim had never been this rebellious. Was he not still a good kid? Tom and Mary were pale with shock at Jim's unexpected outburst. Sit down there. Huh? On the floor? Both of you, sit there. Okay. Startled, they sat on the floor Jim pointed to. The floor must be uncomfortable. Jim, Quiet, don't speak until I say you can't. Yes. Mary, utterly defeated. Dad, first, I want to know what happened today. Well, you passed your high school entrance exams. That's right. And what was for dinner? Oh, steak? That's right. And which meat did you eat, Dad? Foreign, I guess. Then what's this? The tray from the kitchen with the meat. Look, it's labeled. What does it say? Huh? What does it say? Read it. Yeah, prime beef. Jim's voice, deepened by puberty, was very commanding. Tom answered, straightening his back for some reason. Couldn't you read it? Huh? What, Jim? You couldn't read this? You can read it now, but you couldn't before eating? You knew, didn't you? Huh? That this was prime beef? The meat Mom bought for me? You knew, right? Yes, I knew. Grandma, was it good? Huh, Jim? Was the prime beef tasty? Was my meat good? Tender enough for an elderly grandma to eat easily, right? Well, I don't know. You're still young to not remember. It was tender and delicious. I was dumbfounded by Jim, yelling with a flushed face, and Tom and Mary's faces were ashen. Well, yeah, when the reward for hard work is eaten like that, I guess there were years of pent-up resentment. It must have been like a sudden explosion. Jim, still shaking from his shouting, said in a low voice again, "Come here." "Huh?" Tom asked again, unable to hear clearly. Jim, lifting his face, glared at Tom. Tears welled up in his eyes. He really wanted that meat. "Go get some more prime beef from Texas." "Prime beef from Texas? Can't we just get it from a nearby grocery store?" "Grudge of food is fearsome. Buy enough prime beef for me and Mom, from the source, or I'll never speak to you again. Forget about me taking care of you when you're older." "Huh? But Jim..." "Grandma, too. You're strangers to me now." "Jim, don't." "If you don't like that, go buy it. Quickly. Go." "Oh. Go buy it." "Understood." The greedy parents jumped up with pale faces and dashed out like in a cartoon. "Are butchers even open at this hour?" "Oh, wait, that's not the problem here." Food grudges are scary. Later, I took Jim to a restaurant to celebrate properly. Before Jim's school entrance ceremony, we left our house. We moved to my parents' place, closer to his high school. The old house was an hour's drive away, but it's a bike ride from my parents. After telling my parents what happened, they gladly took us in, considering it better for Jim's education. I transferred to a different branch of my company near my parents' house. Now Jim goes to high school happily every day. He's glad his food isn't disappearing at home. It must have been a lot of stress. For me, too. Thinking about it makes me tear up. As for Tom and Mary, they didn't actually go to the source, but did buy prime beef. But Jim's anger didn't subside. Neither did mine. They frequently brought prime beef to my parents' house as an apology. So we had prime beef forever. Before I could tell them to stop, they probably ran out of money. They keep calling and messaging to apologize, but I haven't forgiven them. Jim will probably continue going to high school from my parents' house until he graduates. If he gets into his desired university, he plans to live alone. He says he won't return home anyway. Tom and Mary are pale about this near estrangement, but it's their fault. Even kids know not to take other people's things. What's done is done. For me, I'm happy to provide Jim with delicious lunches and meals without Tom and Mary's interference. I get to take care of my parents, so I'm very satisfied. If Jim doesn't return, maybe I don't need to either. Not sure if we'll divorce or reconcile, but I'll never forgive what was done. Even if I live with Tom again, I'll keep bringing it up. I don't think Tom could withstand that. He needs to learn how scary a food grudge is.